Today on My Plug Life, we're going to talk about tires, a very important part of your vehicle. It keeps you away from danger and stops you from going to the repair shop. So with electric vehicles, there is a little bit differences with tires. They are more important in some ways than gasoline cars, and we'll go over that in a bit. But if you get stuck on the side of the road and you need to throw a new tire on, you might find yourself without a spare tire. This is typical of any newer vehicle, especially in electric vehicles, because the weight in the car determines the range of the car. So typically they give you maybe a tire repair kit, or you might have to buy one of your own. There's a couple ways you can do that. You could say, for example, plug the hole with this little, what they call snake. It's a little tar thing that plugs the hole so it doesn't leak. Might last you an hour, might last you a year, don't really know. Get to the shop and get it repaired, right? Alternatively, there's this goop, slime, that can coat the inside of your tire. Now, this goes through the valve stem where you put the air in. And if you have an electric vehicle that has a special tire that actually has this foam, they have a foam on the inside, it's to reduce the noise. If you have that, the goop's not going to go around, so it's pretty much useless. Typically, those patch kits are the only thing you can really use on an electric vehicle. Or alternatively, if you had a spare in the back or you just had it towed, that'd be fine. Now, you've brought your car over to the shop to get your tire repaired. They take the tire and the rim off. They check the inside of the tire for damage, and they'll look for where it's punctured. Now, if it's between the grooves in your tire, you're pretty safe. They can usually repair it at that point. Not too bad. If it's outside that, time for a brand new tire, unfortunately. Now, if you had a tire that needed to be replaced, they'd also have to replace the other side unless it was basically a brand new tire, because it's going to outbalance things, cause wear funny and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing they'll look for is to check all the tires, and if they're all worn out, they might recommend you change the whole set, which is fairly expensive all at once when you just got a flat tire on your way to work, right? Now, the other thing that might cause your tire to be replaced is a bubble on the side of the sidewall. This is 99% of the time because you probably hit a curb too hard or something like that, but it won't show up right away. It might take you a couple months before you see that bulge. That's your tire ripping apart, and you don't really want that. So I'd pretty much change your tire as soon as you can. Now, you've decided you need new tires. So first of all, the challenges for an electric vehicle are we have a higher torque in the car, the pick up and go. So that's going to wear out your tires a little bit faster. And also the weight's different, so your stopping distance is going to be different. To combat some of the issues that we have with electric vehicles, for example, we have a low friction tires or low rolling resistance. This is to give you a better range. They also have more grip to give you better stopping distance, but that wears out faster. The noise of the tires can be loud in some of the electric vehicles because they're so quiet. So they have that insert foam that I was talking about, comes from the manufacturer of the tire, already pre-installed. You don't have to do anything. So once we get to that point, we can choose if we want all seasons, summers, or winters. Now, I would not recommend all seasons unless you are in a very stable climate position, because they're okay in all the situations, but they're really, really bad when you hit any sort of snow. So they're a little bit dangerous. I'd recommend going with, say, a summer, winter and swapping them over, especially if you get any type of snow. Now, summer tires are only really good to about 7 degrees Celsius. Below that, they get really hard, and your car may feel like you're on ice or water at all times. That's not really all that safe. So if you get a winter tire, to put in context, an all-wheel drive car with all seasons on it is not nearly as good as a rear-wheel drive car that has winters all around. So it's a big safety issue, and I definitely go in with the summer-winter kind of thing, unless, of course, you're in a climate that is pretty stable throughout the year. So you've got two options. You can go with the OEM. That's what I'd recommend most of the time. Maybe you decide you want to go with something different. Maybe you don't like it for some reason, or maybe even the price, right? So what I'd recommend is go on a website like TireRack.com. Now, it's a really good website. You don't need to buy your tires from there, but it's good to give you an idea of what you're looking for. So if you hit the tire decision guide, you can put the car info. It'll tell you what kind of tires are on your car. Then you can choose your all seasons, summers, or winters. You choose from a 1 to 5 scale what's important to you for your driving situation. For example, they might ask you traction, comfort, wet and dry, tread life, and price. From all that, it's going to give you a recommended list of different types of tires you can put on and some prices. And from that list, you can then go to whoever your local tire guy is and see if he can get the same tire. And you know it's going to be good. Like I said, most of the time, OEM's perfectly fine. There's a reason they picked those ones. And also, if you're looking at the side of your tire, you can see a bunch of numbers on there that might be a little confusing. I wouldn't really worry about them, but I'll briefly go into it. My tire says 245/40R18. Now, 245 is the width of the tire in millimeters. 40 is the aspect ratio, so that's the height from the rim. The lower number is a low profile tire. Bigger number is a taller tire. R means radial. That is on all passenger vehicles. You might see something like this if you had a big giant truck or something, so you're not going to see that pretty much. And 18 is the rim size. You can't change that size. It's the size of the rim. It's not going to fit if it's wrong. The other thing I see on there is a 93W. That has to do with the speed the tire's rated for, so how fast the car is expected to go. So that way it doesn't tear apart the tire. You can go higher, that's fine. But all these numbers are the specific type of tire you have. Other brands, you can get the same sort of thing, but some of them will have different technologies like that foam insert. So thank you very much for checking this out. There's a lot to know about these tires, but typically OEM's good. Make sure to throw winters on it when it gets cold and you'll be fine. I'll see you guys in the next video.